he's not only shitting in parking lots in a Pringles can, he's then going to places where victims of violent crimes are
Yeah.
and then tossing them like grenades into the bushes by the parking lot.
I'm connecting the dots. Like, maybe he's a defense attorney. And so he's going to these places where they help victims of crimes. He's like, y'all are full of shit.
Yeah.
And my
Welcome back to Breaking Takes, everyone.
That's
and right as I said that, a fly flew past my face. I thought I avoided the flies for at least the first part of this episode, but they were just lying in wait for me to press record.
Exactly. They're excited. That's our studio audience is all the fruit flies in your apartment.
I mean, I hope I don't get eaten alive before I come back from Panama. We'll still see. I definitely have had chunks taken out of me overnight where I wake up and I'm like, how the fuck do flies even bite that much? But apparently they do down here.
Yeah.
But speaking of being excited, I have some questions for you because I was stalking your Instagram and I saw you went to a really big show.
Oh.
You posted a story. It looked like so can you tell the people what you went to see and set the stage?
Absolutely. I went to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn last night and I saw Ice Spice and Doja Cat live in concert.
Hell yeah.
I bought the tickets a while ago. I'm a Doja Cat fan. I'm not that into Ice Spice, but you can't avoid Ice Spice's music for one. She's like all over TikTok.
Yeah.
And I just love Doja Cat so much. The concert was scheduled, of course, at the time of recording this. Last night would be November 29th. So as I may have mentioned before, my partner's birthday was November 13th. So I bought these tickets a while ago as just like a birthday gift, but also because I wanted to do something fun as well. And we both like Doja Cat. So I was like, this is a win. Like, this is a gift for you and for me.
Those are the best gifts. People always say that like when you give gifts, you have to be unselfish about it. I totally disagree. I think if you give someone a gift, and especially if you're going to drop a pretty penny on it, do something for you too, because then you're just incentivizing yourself to get an even better gift because you're getting a piece of it.
First of all, I'm an extremely selfish gift giver. I love gift giving. I absolutely love gift giving. Christmas is my favorite time of year. But I love gift giving from like a selfish point of view where it fuels my ego to give someone a gift and see them genuinely like it. Because I'm like, I know you so well. Because I really do pay attention to the people that I love. I pay attention to them. I care about them. So when I flex on them with my gift giving. So it's like, 100%. It's not even about like, I did this for me to make myself feel good, to remind myself that I am the best at gift giving.
Yeah. That's what that feeling, you put it into words. I didn't know what that was, but it's that feeling when I give someone a gift and they clearly like it and they're excited about it. And in my mind, as they're looking at the gift, I go, yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right. Like, I knew you were going to like that, obviously, because I know what I'm doing.
I'm stunting all over everyone else who came here with these petty gifts, these pairs of socks, these Amazon gift cards. I spent $300 on you, and $150 of that is going towards me because it's a couple's massage. That's how this works.
Yes. Yeah. But so we went to the concert and it was freaking cold as hell last night. There were a lot of girlies out there that were not wearing proper clothing for the temperature outside.
What's
Very
proper
minimal
clothing? Because I've lost all track of seasons being in Panama.
Yeah, well, it's cold. It's actually nice here today. There's a big increase in temperature, but it was like freaking cold. You know how New York is when the temperatures drop. Like it's probably like high 20s, but the wind is like blowing off the water, so you're even colder. So I'm wearing my full fur coat because I'm freezing. And there are girlies just taking pictures like in lingerie, essentially, standing outside. And they're diehards. It was a sold out show. Doja Cat killed it. She did a great job. And I also think I got extremely secondhand high because all of Brooklyn hotboxed the Barclays Center at Doja's concert last night. The amount of puffs of smoke that were in the air was truly magnificent.
What was the first sign that you thought you were getting secondhand high? Like, because when I'm in those situations, if I'm not smoking, but I'm in a car, and then I'll think something and be like, oh, fuck, I'm not even smoking and I'm getting high right now.
Okay, well, I will say that I lied a little bit because I was actually firsthand high because
the first sign was when I smoked 3 blunts before walking into the concert.
Exactly. Well, so I had eaten an edible before the show. And so I ate an edible like before we hit the subway to head to the stadium. And I realized I was high when I was waiting in line for a drink. I left Demi at the seat because she was already good. I was getting a refill. And I was just standing there. And suddenly it just hits you when you just start staring off.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm being extremely observant right now. More than usual. So, yeah, the edible hit. And then I just rode out that high with all the puffs of smoke because that's usually what I have to do. I got to double it up. I got to smoke and eat a little baby edible. Last night, I didn't even have to smoke my own weed. I smoked everybody else's weed last night just by breathing.
Really? So you eat the edible first usually as an extended release?
It depends. Yeah, but usually I'll smoke and then I'll eat like a little edible to like keep the high going. But I don't always eat edibles. But if I'm going to and I'm like, I really need a night sleep tonight, all the way through the night, I will smoke and then eat an edible just to keep it going.
Yeah. I respect the fur coat move because it's hard to be a boss and shiver at the same time. Like it doesn't matter how good I look. If I'm standing outside fucking like shivering, I look like a little bitch. But if I'm wearing my pea coat, I'm comfortable, I'm still dressed nice, and everyone else is shivering around me, in that moment, I just feel better than you because
that's right.
We are.
I looked like a pimp. I was having the time of my life. As I said, Doja killed it. It was a really great concert. So it was my first concert actually that I saw like a rap artist. I mean, Doja's pop rap, but I had actually never seen that genre live. I've usually just seen like rock concerts or artists that I've seen. Like I have a habit of seeing the same artists frequently and not like shuffling in new artists.
Oh, I do the same thing. I find what I love. I'm interested. I know you said you don't have as much experience with Ice Spice, but I saw one of the stories was Ice Spice coming out on stage. I only know the idea of Ice Spice. I'm sure if I played her songs, I've heard a few seconds of it on Instagram or just playing on the radio. But the only thing I know about Ice Spice is when people are talking on podcasts, they're like, what's that girl with the orange afro? And then they throw up Ice Spice. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then I haven't really listened to her. What is she like on stage?
She was good. I mean, I think opening acts always have a bit of a tough job because people aren't, not everybody's there to see the opening act. Some people are, but not everybody's there to see them. A lot of people are kind of shuffling in and out to get drinks, go to the bathroom, do whatever, like before the main act comes on. So I always try to like pay attention to the opening artist. And I think most people did. I mean, Ice Spice, I think, is a Bronx native. I could be wrong. Maybe she's from Queens. She's from somewhere in New York City. So I think New York came out and like showed their respects, and yeah, she was good, but I don't really know a lot of her songs that well. So I was just kind of like, basically all her songs I know about 2 lines, and they're on repeat, and you hear them all the time on TikTok. They're extremely catchy.
Yeah.
And extremely popular. So I knew all the songs, but I couldn't like sing along any of the words. But she did a lot of twerking, and she had a lot of booty up on that stage. Her afro and her booty looked great. That's my final review. 5 stars.
So she had a voluptuous, just literally from her head to her toe, just the roundness from her afro to
very
her booty.
round.
It was almost like a third booty cheek on her head is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I just love the curve. Her afro looked so good. Like, and you saw it from my story on Instagram. It was like perfect. It was perfectly spherical. And so orange. I mean, you didn't even need to look at the screens. You could just see the orange fro from like the back of the stadium.
Yeah. I've always wondered, like, people talk about, pop artists, are they manufacturing their look, or they're trying to have this one thing that stands out about them, whether it's, like Machine Gun Kelly has like crazy hair, Ice Spice has the hair, like other people do these crazy dress up things on stage. But if you're on stage and thousands of people are looking at you from far away, you have to have such a bold thing about you. You have to have at least one thing about your afro, or one thing about your look that's just super stand out, because you can't look like a normal person on stage. Like, you can't look like you just walked out of the deli and just go on stage, because people will be like,
I mean, there are artists that do that.
I guess you could. But even like,
I don't know if it's working for those artists, but
even like Action Bronson, though, like he's a guy that dresses pretty casual, but he's so big when he comes out on stage. Like, he's a big fucking dude. I guess Post Malone kind of dresses normal, but he also has all the tattoos, so that stands out. So I don't know if it's a purposeful thing for visual
I would say
effects.
Ice Spice, I don't know if it's for the sake of the concerts, but absolutely. I mean, I'm sure she might have did her fro that color because she wanted to, but also like her image is very unique, and that serves a massive purpose in the entertainment industry. So it's definitely also calculated.
Yeah. I mean, if Dunkin' Donuts is not doing a brand deal with her and calling it the Ice Spice Latte, they're losing billions of dollars potentially. And she has orange hair. So
Yep, she secured the bag. So I had a great night, and thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I was just interested because I know Doja Cat a little bit better. I've never been to her concerts though, but I saw Ice Spice and I was like, what the hell is she like in person? Like, I can't imagine. Like, it could go either way for me. So it's good to hear that.
Very
it's a good time.
professional. No, I thought that something that Demi, my partner, had mentioned to me when we were sitting there and she came out on stage. Demi was just like jumping up with joy and was so happy. And she mentioned, she was like, I just feel like it's so cool that Ice Spice and Doja, they're like our age, which Ice Spice is actually only 23 years old, which is insane. Doja Cat is our age, like 27, 28. But she was like, I just feel like it's so cool that there's these 2 women that are like our age out here killing it. And I thought, they take their job seriously. It's always shit when you go to a concert and they like, if the artist just doesn't care or doesn't take it seriously or whatever, it's just like leaves a bad feeling. So yeah, both Ice Spice and Doja Cat, they took their work seriously. You can't show up in New York City. When they perform, I always say, like, if you live in New York, if you can see a concert in New York, you absolutely should, because this is the one spot on their tour of however many cities that I know for a fact that artist is coming to like give everything they got, because it might be getting recorded for like a live album. It might be getting filmed. Either way, like I said, it was a sold out show, and they know
Yeah.
that it's New York City. Like they're not coming out there to look like a fool. So they definitely came out super professional, great performance, no complaints for Ice Spice or Doja.
Yeah, look, you went there, you were with someone you care about, you got high internally and
Yeah.
externally, and you saw a good show. So it sounds like a good
Yep.
night.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's a good little a little checkup
A little
on our
check-in,
lives.
yeah. Yeah. So speaking of, I guess, the Barclays Center, because Lord knows it's hard to find a place to park there. You're insane if you try to drive up to the Barclays Center.
Yeah.
There was an attorney that was suspended for pooping in a Pringles can and leaving it in a parking lot.
I mean,
So,
okay. But just from that, I'm like, I mean, it sounds like there was an emergency at hand. I mean,
so we'll find out. This was actually kind of a big story. The way I figure out how big of a story it is once I find it, I type it into Google and see how many other people have done stories on it. And there were
okay.
like 18 options to choose from. Because
Yeah.
I was
All
like, is
right.
this just kind of one of those local news stories? Like maybe it's not that big of a deal. But it went all the way up to the Ohio Supreme Court. So let's find out
Serious.
what happened. So the Ohio Supreme Court suspended an attorney who defecated into a Pringles potato chip can and then tossed it into a parking lot of a crime victim advocacy center. Criminal defense attorney Jack A. Blakesley's conduct called into question his fitness to practice law. The court decided. Again, the Supreme Court, like this was heard in front of the Supreme Court. Blakely's defense, he said he didn't target the victim center, but had a habit of putting his feces in Pringles cans and randomly throwing them from his car. He claimed he pulled the Pringles prank at least 10 times that year, but the court didn't buy it and said that Blakely purposely chose the Haven of Hope parking lot in Cambridge, Ohio, as his quote unquote drop zone. Surveillance video captured the incidents in November 2021. So,
Wow.
yeah, this guy's shitting a Pringles can. The first question as I'm reading the date is like, who was sitting on this footage for 2 years? Because this was recorded pretty much exactly 2 years ago, and it was just brought into the news now. Like this is a recent court case. It wasn't in and out of court for a couple of
Wow.
years. So I'm wondering like who was sitting on this surveillance footage and one day was like, you know what, that was pretty fucked up. I think I'm gonna
You know what?
file a
This has
charge.
been disturbing me for 2 years now. Maybe
Yeah.
I should talk to somebody about it.
Yeah. Some guy just he saw it on video. He's just watching it, just typical Paul Blart mall cop dude looking at the surveillance footage, and he just sees someone toss something in a bush and doesn't think anything of it, and then he zooms in 2 years later. He's just like, "What? Let me go check on that video." Like he's showing his friends just like the highlights of security cam footage while they're probably getting high in the security room, and his friends like zoom like I think that's shit. Like I think he just shit in a Pringles can
Hmm.
and threw it at the victim advocacy center. But you know, these things take
When
time to develop.
what was the it's like, when did the first Pringles can happen? You know, was the first one an emergency?
That's a good question. I'm trying to put myself
You can't
in
be.
the
I
in the
don't think
driver's seat.
you don't go to the store, Zach, and go, let me find the perfect thing to take a dump in as you're like going up and down the grocery store aisles.
Yeah.
I feel like he had a Pringles can and then was like, I got to take an emergency shit. And his logic was beautiful. I think a Pringles can, I mean, it's a straight shot. Just, it's
Yeah.
wide enough, but not a lot of room for error. It's going to go like a slide.
Yeah, that's so. I feel like it has to be So here's the thing. I've done this before where I piss in a bottle in the
Oh, I was
car
gonna say
because
you pooped in a Pringles can before.
not yet, not yet. But I have peed in many Gatorade bottles, not maybe like 3 or 4 Gatorade bottles where I'm just in stop and go traffic. There's no place to get off. And I'll just, you pee in it. But as soon as you stop, you toss the bottle out in the garbage. If I'm in stop and go traffic and I'm about to shit my pants, or I'm just not able to get out for some reason, I think I just park my car and just go off of the highway wherever I can and just drop my pants and shit. I don't think I try to receptacle it in the
Mm.
actual vehicle because also a Pringles can, like if anything, I'm going to take a dump into a leftover Chinese food box or something
I'm
with
saying, but a
more
Pringles can
surface
you just
area.
hold it up to like your butthole? Like your butthole, it's just gonna drop the logs right in. We're assuming that the fecal matter is solid.
Yes, that's the thing. Because it's still neat. Like it still has to be so neatly packed because a Pringles can, when you're like, you can't stick your hand fully to the end of a Pringles
No.
can. You have to tilt it to get the Pringles out. So it's like this isn't that much give. Like when you hold your hand up and you try to squeeze it together, like you could easily get some wild things going on down
I
the side
think
of
if
that
you
can.
spread the cheeks, if you spread the cheeks and lower yourself onto the Pringles can, I think it can be done. That without any slips and
There's
just load it up. You just hope you don't have too much that it overflows.
Yeah, there's no question it can be done. I would bet that if you track them over the course of the 10 times he did that
Yeah.
year, he said that year I did it 10 times. So he could have been doing this for multiple years. I
Yeah.
bet you he gets better and better
Oh yeah.
each time. Kind of like if you go to a gun range and you start hitting targets, like you're hitting the outer ring, and then you go the next
Mhm.
time and you're getting a little bit closer to the bullseye. I think it's the same thing with pooping in a Pringles can. You just learn to hone your sights and get it
Yes.
more directly in the can.
Yeah, and he was like reduce, reuse, recycle. Like I'm reusing my Pringles
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
I'm giving this Pringles can new life by being my toilet.
Yeah. Do you think an environmental law firm will pick him up now that he's in free agency, pretty much having been
You know what?
suspended?
Yeah. I mean, maybe that we're onto something. Like when you're camping and you can't just take a dump in the campsite, on campgrounds, you can't walk to the bathhouse. It's too far. You might need a receptacle like this. So maybe this is an idea that
Hmm.
he could sponsor or that he could endorse
I
about
th- I think so.
pooping receptacles.
I think Pringles has an advertising opportunity here. Here's the parallel that I'll draw. So Pedialyte, of course, is made to be baby formula, but the
Yeah.
market is probably as big or bigger
Mm-hmm.
for hungover college students slash young adults who are
That's
just
right.
crushing Pedialyte. Pedialyte has never made a commercial about being used for hangovers. Like you've never
Yeah.
seen a Pedialyte commercial where they're like, "Have you ever seen a baby hungover? Drink Pedialyte." Pringles has an opportunity where they can go, "Look, you eat the Pringles out of the can, and then when you're done, head to your local REI where we're now selling Pringles poo receptacles for your next camping trip.
Yeah.
Double up. We reuse the Pringles cans and we put them back, and we're partnering with outdoor stores across America to have a home for your poo."
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. The sky's the limit. The part of the story that I am a little bit skeptical of is the targeting. Did
Yeah.
he target this? What was it? A safe haven, like of a victims of crimes?
Yeah, so basically, it sounds like it's a place where support groups go who have been victims of violent crimes, and kind of, yeah, basically you're getting support for trauma that's been caused to you. So the lawyer says he did it 10 times as a prank, and he didn't target the Victim Advocacy
And
Center.
who was he pranking? Just the rest of society?
I don't know.
I'm like, who are you pranking? Just the universe right now?
The next person. That's in a prankster's mind.
The
It's just the next person.
bitch
Yeah. It's
that
like
picks up that Pringles can.
yeah, it's like the poo on the dollar bill trick. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be
Gotcha.
anyone. It's just as soon as they pick up that dollar, it's the perfect person. It's just you were next. That's it. It's kind of like the movie
Wow.
It's the movie Strangers, where the people sneak into the house and kill this couple, and the couple's like, why? Like, why are you doing this? And the people that broke in just whisper in their ear and go, because you were home. I feel like this guy would whisper into their ear and be like, because you were next. And that would be that would be his logic. But yeah, he says he didn't target the Victim Advocacy Center. The court thinks that it's a targeted crime. In the jury's mind, this means that this guy is a complete psychopath that drove to 9 other victim advocacy centers and tossed the Pringles can in the parking lot, because he already admitted, he said, I've done this multiple times. I've done this 10 times actually in the past year. So if these are targeted crimes, he's like not only shitting in parking lots in a Pringles can, he's then going to places where victims of violent crimes are, and then tossing them like grenades into the bushes or by the parking lot.
Well, okay. So did you say that he was an attorney?
He's an attorney.
So okay, I'm connecting the dots. Like, maybe he's a defense attorney. And so he's going to these places where they help victims of crimes. He's like, y'all are full of shit.
Yeah.
And my client is innocent.
Yeah.
And
intimidation.
just leaving. Yeah, exactly. It's like, look at this large tube of doo-doo that I'm leaving for you. That is about to be your life if you don't drop this case or drop this charge.
I think you nailed it. I mean, some people, they follow you home. Other people will break into your house and move things around to mess with you. This guy's like, I'm going to shit in a Pringles can and make these victims know they better drop the charges. I think you're onto something.
Gotta give him points for creativity. Yeah, I mean, if you're there and you're like, surely nobody will figure this one out.
Yeah.
Except my DNA in the tube.
But here's the thing, though. If you're intimidating someone, the reason that it works is because the person being intimidated gets the message. If you walked out of a victim advocacy center and you saw a can of Pringles on the ground and you were like, oh, nice. And then you pick it up and you go, oh, it's a little heavy. And then you open it up and you're like, oh my God. Like, in your mind, would you be like, it has to be the defense lawyer, or it's coming from the other people? Or would you just be like, there's a teenager that's shit in a Pringles can and
I would just assume somebody had an emergency and had to take a dump. And it's also like, who's going out there and like picking up this Pringles can and then opening it?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not picking it up. And then second of all, if I somehow did pick it up and it was heavy, I'm scared right away.
Yeah. I mean, the two things that Pringles are not are warm and heavy. So
yeah.
If it's kind of on you.
Of shit.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of on you if you do it. And this might make the guy a better lawyer in other people's eyes. Like, maybe law firms will pick him up
he's
because
going to bat for me.
They'll be like, yeah, this guy's not afraid to get dirty. He will do whatever it takes. He will slit someone's throat and put him in the trunk of his car, or he'll shit in a Pringles can and toss it into their front yard. He'll whatever it is he has to do to get the verdict, this guy will do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's dedicated. So he's in what? It has jury still out
Yeah,
on.
so it's going through the court system right now. He's been suspended from his law firm, but it's just kind of in limbo, and it's just left with, yeah, he's been suspended. He was caught on video and they linked it to this guy. I think his law firm is nearby, so that's how they connected him, or I guess license plate too is probably on the video. But yeah, I also kind of want to see that video because I'm interested in.
Yeah, I want to see the method.
Do you throw it? Do you roll it?
Place it?
Yeah,
you open the door and just enough so your arm can slip out, like from under the door, and then you roll it towards the front door of the building.
Yeah. And was he shitting also on video? Like, did you see him sitting really high up in his car? And you're like, that's odd. Like, I've never seen someone's head touch the ceiling like that in a pickup truck. But like, he has a foot-long Pringles can underneath him in the video. So,
like, was this premeditated? You know, like, or does he at home? Does he have like a stockpile? Does he just not use the toilet at home? And he just has a stockpile of Pringles containers with turds in them, just for when he feels like he's got to go on a vigilante run of the town.
I will say that I've never. I just want to get this off my chest because I know listeners are wondering. I've never shit in a can, but I have peed, like I said, in multiple bottles. And after you pee in the bottle, it is a very precise sort of rewarding activity because you're just like, oh, I filled up this bottle and it feels kind of neat and compact, and you throw it away. And the next time you have to pee, you go like, oh, this isn't as fun. And so like maybe you just pee in another bottle for no reason. Maybe this guy has a problem with shit. Like maybe he needs to go to a meeting for some group somewhere.
Yeah.
And
like maybe he wants to weigh them out every time.
Yeah.
He like has the Pringle can like as a tear weight on a scale.
Yeah.
And he's just like weighing it every time.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea because who hasn't been in a hotel and you're like, fuck, I wish they had some dumbbells in the room. Like I don't feel like going to a gym. And then you remember, oh, I have 5-pound weights in my car that happen to be shit-filled Pringles cans. And he has them labeled like 5 pounds Chipotle, 3 pounds, 3 pounds Indian food.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
1 pound Cobb salad, very compact, a lot of fiber.
I want to know what his family and friends, like, is this something they've known about, or has this information changed them? Did they just find out their friend or their coworker has been defecating in Pringles cans?
It has to change you. It has to cut deep. If I found out one of my coworkers or one of my friends was caught cereal shitting in Pringles cans, and it was out of like the thing is, if he gets found guilty, this is kind of a hate crime. like if he's targeting victims of other crimes, I guess that would be technically you're targeting a group of people because he could have driven anywhere. He says it's not. It's a prank. But if you're reading this, if my friend got caught and I'm reading this, I feel like I would never be able to look at him, or like every time we got high and we had food around for munchies.
I'm like, hide the Pringles.
Yeah, hide the Pringles. Or like, will he shit? Like if I have potato chips out,
will he shit in
a bag of Tostitos?
No container can be trusted with around this man any longer.
Yeah, and I started to think back. I'm like, yo, why have you never used my bathroom? We've been friends for 10 years, and I've never seen you go to the bathroom. And he just runs out of the house. He's like, oh fuck. he's just like trying to escape.
And then you hear this story, and you have to just start opening like all the containers in your house just to check.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a grocery store in the area too, like you have no idea how widespread this guy's asshole is. Like he could have been,
Absolutely.
yeah. Pringles might have to do a total recall. Who
I
knows?
mean, he could be doing this 3 times a day.
Yeah,
I mean, you could really start racking it up.
yeah. I wonder. I wonder if he's ever had, because sometimes I'll be on the toilet and I have truly existential realizations where I'm sitting there. It's a relaxing poo. Maybe I'm just sitting for an extra 5 minutes when I don't have to. I don't have my phone. I get caught in a vibe where I'm just thinking and I'm reflecting. I wonder if this guy's ever been shitting on top of a Pringles can in his car and he just goes, "Oh, my daughter's wedding's coming up. Like,
Hmm.
I'm really proud of her. Like,
Yeah.
she's been through a lot and I can't wait to see her walk down the aisle with Ted." And he starts tearing up and he's looking
Just
for
another day.
tissues or napkins, but he can't reach them because he can't go off the Pringles can because he's not done yet. But like, I wonder if he's ever had any truly reflective moments while defecating into packaged goods.
I would hope so. I hope he's having even more times of reflection now.
Yeah.
Now that people know about his dirty little secret. But also, you said something just then, and I love that we're talking about a literal gross topic right now. But when you go number two, do you really sit there and like, how long do you sit there? Like before you flush and leave?
Depends if I have my phone. If I have my phone, which I try not to do, but when I do bring my phone to the bathroom, I will sit on the toilet sometimes for 10 minutes after I'm done pooing, and my leg will start to go numb. Whatever leg I have
Wow.
more pressure on I'll get the tingles, and that'll remind me like, "Oh, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes." There are
Mm.
other times where I've just like maybe I'm in a beautiful location. Like we were just in a great Airbnb in Panama and I'm sitting on the toilet and you can kind of see the jungle and leaves coming out or maybe there are birds chirping in the background and you're just like, this is nice. I'm gonna, just sit here
Interesting.
and relax for a little bit. There's no rush. I don't always have to do. Sometimes I can just be, and that's okay.
That's really profound. I, on the other hand, as soon as the
On the left
matter,
hand or the right hand?
the left,
Okay.
um, as soon as the matter starts leaving my body, I cannot hit the flush fast enough. Sometimes it's barely even hit the water. I'm like, I want that gone out of my life so fast. So I'm in and out
Mm.
of the bathroom so quick. I'm not hanging around with my leftovers. I want them gone to the sewage plant so fast. And then I exit. I don't have any I don't sit there with my friends.
Let me ask you this. Do you think part of that could be internalized societal pressure for the fact that females are not allowed to poo? Like that like
Yeah.
the object of taking a dump and also being a woman just is not something that people I think most guys are fine with it. Honestly, like I don't know guys that are like, yeah, my girlfriend took a fat dump the other day and now I can't look at her. But I think women just have a pressure where it's just like I can't have the leftovers. I can't be in the smell. I can't let anyone else know
Oh
that
no.
this occurred. I need to get rid of
Oh,
the
you'll
evidence as quickly
know.
as possible. Is that part of it?
No, I think usually the people around me will know it's occurred when it's
Okay.
occurred. um no, it's not that at all. I mean, I just think like I don't want to hang out with my fecal matter any longer.
Mm.
You know, I want it gone. I don't want it just hanging out in the bathroom. Like nothing grosses me out more than the thought of like men just sitting there reading a paper And then they're like turds just in the water, like, please flush me, please. They've been in there marinating for like 30 minutes.
So to you, it sounds like it's more of out of the kindness of your heart to put the turds out of their misery. Like, you're so connected with the universe that
take care of my bathroom too.
They're taking on a sort of consciousness to you where you sense that they're coming alive somehow.
Friends.
Whereas me, I'm so closed-minded. I'm just like, they're just inanimate objects. So who cares if they sit there for 1 minute or 20 minutes? I'm just gonna, get lost in my thoughts. But you're taking the consciousness of your excrement into account.
Yeah, or maybe I just feel better than my own poop. I'm just like, as soon as it's gone, I'm like, you don't know me anymore. Like, you're not even a part of me anymore. Get out of here. That'll be me when I have kids, too. You're not even a part of me anymore. Go.
That makes sense. Like, because imagine if you could flush your ex, would you?
Absolutely.
If you had a human-sized toilet.
Oh, my God,
and they were like, help me, help. And you could just
I'll flush them all. We'll get a clog. I'll be flushing so many of them. We need a life-size plunger.
I'm just imagine you plunging humans down the toilet, grasping onto the plunger. And I do the same thing. I think it also, you do feel powerful sometimes where we're at such a high level of technology nowadays where you just press a little lever and you send someone to Siberia and they're
oh my God,
running through the waterways.
I would love to send my ex through the toilet to Siberia or wherever. I don't even care about her destination, just as long as the travels aren't pleasant.
Yeah, and it's not all, like, she could meet a ninja turtle down there, if she goes to the right sewer. So it's not all bad. It's not totally evil.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we are talking about this because 4 men have been charged over the theft of a $6 million golden toilet.
Wow.
Yes.
Are they lawyers?
They could be. I don't know if we even know who the men are. Well, I assume we do because they've been charged. So this is from Reuters. It's Reuters, right?
Reuters.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually say it, but let's
exactly.
go with Reuters.
Yes. So 4 men have been charged over the theft of an 18-karat golden toilet from a palace in southern England, where it was kept as an art exhibit before being stolen in an early morning heist in 2019. So this happened a while ago, but they've just gotten charged. So the fully functioning toilet, valued at 4.8 million pounds, which is about $6 million, was part of an exhibition by an Italian conceptual artist at Blenheim Palace, which is a major tourist attraction and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. James Sheen, who's 39, was charged with 1 count of burglary and 2 counts of relating to the transfer of criminal property, as well as the 3 others. They were also charged. So this toilet actually was Winston Churchill's toilet.
Really?
Really. So police had said at the time of the theft that burglars broke into the palace with 2 vehicles, took the toilet sometime before 5 a.m. It was not immediately clear if the toilet named America had been recovered.
Wait. So Winston Churchill named the toilet America?
I cannot confirm if the name came before or after Winston Churchill.
And then multiple times a day took a shit on America. I love that.
I too thought this was very funny. So yeah, it says Blenheim Palace, the home of the toilet, was the birthplace and ancestral home of British wartime leader Winston Churchill. Yeah, so the palace, I guess the spokesperson for the palace said in 2019, it was saddened by the loss of the toilet, which had also been on display previously in New York's Guggenheim Museum. So, and the 4 men will appear in court November 28th. So they just had court. Let's see if there's an update real quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So while you're looking at that,
Yeah.
I remember I listened to a podcast a while ago, so I could have some details wrong on this. But when Winston Churchill was on the phone with FDR, basically pleading with FDR to get the United States into World War II because the Nazis were taking over everything. Winston Churchill was deathly afraid that they were going to take over all of the UK. And he was like, we need you. And FDR, eventually America got into the war, obviously, but he initially said no. And from what I remember on that podcast is that apparently Winston Churchill was on the toilet. So like during that phone call. So I'm wondering, did FDR say no to him and then Winston Churchill named the toilet America because he was like, fuck America, we'll beat the Nazis ourselves. And from that point on, he just took a shit on America every morning while he was drinking his 4 champagnes or whiskey, whatever he was.
It seems plausible. It seems rather plausible. And so there's no real updates aside from the fact that they were granted bail. So I don't know if any of them are actually in jail for this. But one sentence in this new article that was interesting to me, it says, I suppose when the toilet was, still in the palace and as like a museum attraction, it says the loo could be used for its intended purpose with a 3-minute time limit to avoid queues. So, and it had only been on show for 2 days when it disappeared. So it looks like they were like, we should let the people take their dookies on the golden toilet. And they try to do a favor for society. And these men stole this toilet for themselves. The whereabouts are unknown of the toilet still. They have not cracked. They have not cracked under pressure of the law.
They opened the toilet for public access, not just people who worked at the museum, but you could walk into the museum, pay $5 or whatever it is, and say the line's too long. Can I go shit on this $5 million toilet?
Yes, like you would wait. It was like a theme park attraction at this museum to go piss in a $6 million toilet.
And I mean, that's kind of on the museum because if someone's taking a dump, you can't have a security guard there watching them, looking into their eyes, you have to give people privacy. And it's like, if the Louvre opened up the Mona Lisa and was like, all right, like everyone publicly can now spend 5 minutes alone with the Mona Lisa. No one's going to watch what you do. And then the Mona Lisa disappears. You'd be like, yeah, you let people
study
alone
the area.
With it. Yeah.
Like they probably went, all 4 of them were in line. Each of them went in and took their 3 minutes to use the toilet and study, the area. Like, is this going to be an easy thing to remove? And toilets really are actually pretty easy to, like, the toilet itself was probably pretty easy to like get up off like the ground. They're really, I mean, it's not that much advanced technology to like put a toilet in your bathroom. So it's more like what happened to the security overnight, like that they were able to sneak this golden toilet. Like, where was everybody?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, because this was was it during hours where it was actually taken?
No, no. They
after.
Snuck in, yeah. This was after hours.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. They probably scoped it out during hours. They, snuck it. I'm guessing fucking, I don't know, some lazy security guard just wasn't doing his job, or I can't imagine this was super tactical because a few of them have already been brought in, right? But the toilet's still missing. So
they went down. Like, this is they're like, they got to be members of like the mob, because they're like, I will go down with this ship. You will not find out where the golden toilet is. I will be put to death before anyone knows.
Yeah. Do you think one of them, like when they got to the toilet overnight and they showed up and they're all, they're trying to figure out how to do it. and they all agreed, we're not going to actually shit in the toilet. One of them just couldn't hold it and shit in the toilet. And then when another guy is unscrewing it from the floor, he looks in and he's like, "Oh, Tim, what the fuck? Like, we agreed we weren't going to actually shit in it." And he was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, I couldn't hold it. Like, my bad." And then they're just like carrying out this toilet, trying not to vomit.
I mean, it's possible. We will never know until we find the golden toilet. So I want to guess, like, where do we think the golden toilet is? Do we think that these 4 men took it for themselves, or do we think that these 4 men were hired by somebody else? And so that person, whoever, the top dog is, do they have the toilet? Like, what is the incentive,
It's hard to tell.
Besides the fact that it's worth $6 million.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it either way. I could see them being hired by someone and they just fucked up. They left evidence and, they left something behind. Does it say what led them to these guys? Was it security footage or fingerprints or something? Or does it just say they got...
that it was probably like security footage. But this happened in the UK, so I'm only getting as much as they tell me. I don't know if they'll tell. I don't have any of that info.
Yeah. So I could see it either way. I could see someone hiring someone to do this, just like a hired job. I could also see where these guys didn't even plan it. They just showed up to the museum that day just for, no pun intended, shits and gigs. And the first guy goes to the toilet and he's like,
"You gotta see
yo,
that
guys,
thing."
there's a fucking," he's like, there's a golden toilet upstairs. You shit in this golden toilet. And then the second guy's like, "No fucking way." And he goes up there and he's just shitting the golden toilet.
Bloody hell.
And the third guy shits and he's like, tells the fourth guy, we should take this toilet. We should fucking just take a shit in this toilet and then we could come back tonight and just take it and we can shit in it for the rest of our bloody lives. And the fourth guy's like, "Yeah, let's go." And the fourth guy speaks in an American accent for some reason, but
that's fine.
Maybe he's a tourist.
This is
and
a
he just
diverse
tagged along.
group, Zach.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 Brits and an American, they decide to come back later that night. They're probably drinking at the pubs. They're getting their courage up to do it. They sneak in and they're just sloppy and they immediately get caught. But before they do, they hide it somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, it could be that simple, because I was also thinking, like, what do you do? Like, is the toilet valued at $6 million because it's a golden toilet, or is the toilet valued at $6 million because it's $6 million worth of gold?
Well, also Winston Churchill's toilet adds some value for sure.
Well, it's in with, yes, I'm getting some mixed reports whether it was his toilet or it's just like it was a toilet at his birthplace.
Okay.
But it's like, was it 6 milli because it's that much gold? Like, if you cut up the toilet and what sold the gold, is it 6 million, or is it 6 million because it's like a rare item?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how things are valued.
That's a good question. I would assume there's some sort of inherent value in the toilet itself.
Yeah, of course. I mean, gold is gold.
I would guess without the connection to any sort of history, maybe it'd be worth a few million, maybe 4 or 5 million, and then there's some extra, value thrown in because it's associated with some famous people, whether it's confirmed or not. But no doubt, like, if you steal the toilet and you at least get it out before you get caught, 100% you should melt it down. Like, you need to get it out of its form as quickly as possible so that you can hide it somewhere more effectively. Or what I was thinking, you fucking coat it. Like, you use some sort of porcelain coat that doesn't damage the gold. Or maybe if you damage the gold, you just damage the outside surface. Like, it's not really going to take away that much value. You make it look like a normal toilet and you insert it in a place where no one's going to give a fuck, like a public bathroom or just some random house anywhere that, and make it age, like take shits on it, age the toilet,
Don't
make
clean
it look
it
dirty
for a while.
Yeah, because like you said, it's like you want to get off the toilet as soon as possible. You flush your friends and you get the fuck out. You're not spending time examining the toilet. So like for them to catch that toilet, if you use that method, they'd have to go through all the toilets in the UK and etch it away and see if there's gold underneath, which they're never going to do.
Yeah, it'd be hard though to melt that down. It would be the smart thing to do. It doesn't seem that these criminals are the smartest, however. But it's like it would be really hard to melt down the golden toilet just because it's iconic. It's like I almost would shed a tear.
Yeah.
You're like this beautiful piece of art. I want to keep it. So I think the golden toilet is still out there, fully intact, getting used to this day. Where? I don't know. I'm going to make it my lifelong mission to find the golden toilet.
Yeah, I think they go with the coating technique. That's what I would do. You just throw a fresh painted coat of something over it.
Make it look really old, like your grandma's, like when the toilets are like pink. You know, that hideous pink color?
Yeah.
I want it to look really old.
Retired in Florida, Palm Beach somewhere. That's, and also, you know how like mafiosos do that all the time. Their grandma needs a new couch. And they're like, "Oh, grandma, don't worry, I got you." And then they send her a new couch, and it's stuffed with $2 million cash, and the grandma has no idea.
Yes.
Same thing. You just call your grandma. "Oh, hey, do you want a brand new toilet? Like your toilet's 20 years old."
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. I want to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want a new home for my friends. Yeah. And then you give her a $5 million toilet that's coated in pink paint, and she has no idea. So
She's
even
like,
if the cops
this is
came,
such a great toilet. I love this toilet. Thank you.
Yeah. Even if the cops came, they'd have no idea.
Yeah, it's a possibility. So yeah, keep an eye out, people. You never know. The toilet that you are sitting on could be the golden toilet. It's like a scratch off. We've made a global, a worldwide scratch off toilet.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. Especially if you're in the
Scratch
UK,
them off, you won't know until you scratch it.
If you're in the UK, take whatever your quarter is, just rub it a little bit on the next toilet you sit on, and if you find gold underneath, send us a DM, and we'll do a podcast with you. But you have to sit on the golden toilet. We'll blur out your face and IP address, everything like that. But just
do the
double
pod
check
from the toilet.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, sounds great.
I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna refill my water.
All right. So speaking of toilets,
we're on a roll,
and also taking poos. The third story in a row. We'll see how many poo stories we can link together. Something that everyone does on Thanksgiving is use the toilet. So this is a Thanksgiving story. Pro-Palestinian protesters disrupt Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to send you a photo, but don't check it until we look at it together, because this is a screenshot of the parade, and I'm going to ask you what you think in a sec.
Okay.
As the text message pops up. There we go. There you are. And there it goes. Boom. Okay. So, pro-Palestinian protesters disrupt Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. The Macy's parade was temporarily halted when a group of 30 pro-Palestinian protesters ran into the street and apparently glued themselves to the pavement of the parade route in New York City. The protesters were demonstrating along 6th Avenue when a handful of them jumped the barricades and ran into the street along 49th. So open up the text message.
All right.
And in that screenshot, just let me know if anything jumps out at you?
All right, let me make it large. If anything jumps out. Okay, well, I see the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Genocide then, genocide now.
Yep.
Free Palestine. Bunch of people there. I don't know what's fully going on. There's the Ronald McDonald car in the background.
Yeah.
With is his name Grimace, the
Yes.
purple guy? Okay.
Yeah. So I could not. So basically, for people that are just listening to this, there's a genocide Palestine protest. Of course, the Israel Hamas war. This is going on. There's people outraged. There's a sign that says genocide then, genocide now, free Palestine, and in the back is the it basically. What looks like a big fuzzy purple potato is Grimace in the McDonald's car.
The Hamburglar is there as well. I noticed the
Hamburglar in the car, but Grimace is standing in the McDonald's car behind this sign, and I couldn't stop looking at Grimace in this photo because it looks like he's surprised, like his mouth is open. He's like. He's looking at this protest and he's like, oh my God. And it's like, this is a character that's made to get 5-year-old kids to want to go to McDonald's. And then all of a sudden you have Grimace in the background of a Palestine protest. And I'm just like, what is going on here?
It's kind of perfect. It's like, did they plan that? It's like the funniest thing that could be in the background is the Ronald McDonald car and the Hamburglar riding shotgun in it.
Yeah.
Like, very serious message in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy Thanksgiving.
100%. And so at first I'm like, oh, Grimace is surprised, even looks shocked at this protest. Yes. So does this mean Grimace is pro-Israel? Like, is McDonald's going to release a statement saying that, even though...
I bet they are. All the major corporations seem to be pro-Israel. I wonder if that's a coincidence.
Yeah. And will McDonald's release something saying, like, the facial expressions of Grimace do not represent the morals of our company, and please, we have our own opinions? Or also
Grimace's spokesperson has to come to the news.
Yeah. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, maybe his mouth is open because Grimace is shouting with the protesters.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if you look at it that way, it's like one of these optical illusions where you can like see it both ways and then you can't unsee it. And once I started to think like he's with the protesters, I can't stop hearing Grimace going like genocide then, genocide now, like just getting in with the pro-power. I don't even know how Grimace talks.
I think that might have been about right. I've never heard Grimace talk. I thought maybe that one didn't talk. I don't know all the characters because there's Ronald McDonald, the Hamburglar. I know him, pesky little guy. Grimace. Are we missing like who are the McDonald's characters?
Genocide then, genocide now, free Palestine, huh?
The bird? There's a bird? I don't know. There's a lot of strange characters, but I think that's what Grimace sounds like. I think that might have been you in that costume, actually.
It was. Not many people know this.
That.
Yeah, not many people know this, but it's tough in these streets trying to support yourself as a podcaster. So something I do to offer my services is I go around being various mascots of fast food establishments. And
that's probably a good gig. That's probably a high-paying job.
Yeah.
To be the Grimace guy in the parade?
Yeah. The Grimace guy got fucked up Wednesday night. He was going out with his bros, just called in hungover, and, I got the backup. I was in the bullpen, and you got me. I was in the suit. I was shouting Free Palestine, and I didn't know I was on camera. And I was actually coordinating with the protesters. I specifically had them stop in the street at that point so the protesters could come in and block the parade.
I actually have to admit, so this was since moving to New York, I've been in New York for Thanksgiving. This was the first trip back to Maryland that I made for Thanksgiving in a couple years. So, of course, something crazy happens when I'm not in town. So, I really didn't hear much about this. I knew that it happened. I'm not surprised because it's New York. So, why not? It's a big stage for a lot of viewers. So I'm not surprised that happened. Did they have to come in and peel them off the ground? You said they glued themselves to the road. So how did they get them off the road? Are they still there? Should I go down and like look?
I assume they peeled them off somehow. I mean, once the parade stops, the cops probably don't give a fuck. They're like, you guys glued yourself to the ground. This is
figure it out.
You figure it out. Like, everyone's gone. The parade's over anyway.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how this ended. I was just thinking about, like, if are we at the point? Do you think America's devolved yet to the point where fast food mascots will start taking stances on Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine? Like, we'll start seeing commercials where the Wendy's girl's wearing like a Palestine flag pin, or, you know, Grimace starts breaking down the history of Russia, Ukraine, or because I feel like corporations, they get weird when it comes to things that are in front of children's faces. They're like, we got to get them young. Like, we got to plant the seeds young and like make them future voters for, you know, everyone votes with their money. So have we gotten to that point yet? Like, is this the beginning? Is this like Grimace's coming out party as, you know, I'm here and I'm pro-Palestine and that's what we're doing? Or maybe he's pro-Israel. Who knows? He hasn't made a statement yet.
Yeah. We could be. I don't know. I mean, I hope not. Like, speaking with realness, I hope not. Like, let like the Wendy's girl just like eat French fries. Let Grimace just like eat some chicken nuggets. You know, let them live their life without being political. But you never know in America. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a TV commercial one day that it is doing that. So who knows?
What's your take on parades? Do you like going to parades? Do you
just
hate
my
them?
General take?
Yeah.
It depends, but typically no. I don't want to go to a parade. I'd rather watch it on TV. Like, I wouldn't want to go to the Thanksgiving. My girlfriend wants to go. Like, every year she's like, we should go. I'm like, maybe, but the idea to me sounds awful, personally. I don't want to go. I don't want to wake up. Because speaking just specifically of the Macy's Day Parade, it starts early.
Yeah.
And it's cold here in New York in November. I don't want to wake up early and then go outside in the cold and just like stand there, you know?
Yeah. I get in line at 4 a.m.
Like, I could watch this on TV from the comfort of my couch in my pajamas. Like, I don't need to be out in the elements like that. I have gone to like the Pride Parade. And I also saw the New York City Halloween Parade, some of it, which actually was fun. So I think it depends on the parade. If I have like more of a personal feeling about going, but in general, I don't really like them. I did not intend to go to the Halloween parade. I just went out for Halloween and ended up at the parade. And it was, the parade itself was cool, but my problem is like the amount of people. I don't want to be around that many people. And it's just too much. It was like chaos. Like, you have to like push and squeeze like past people. I don't like that stuff. So I'm anti-parade. I'm no fun.
Yeah, I'm also anti-parade. I will come out and take that stance. I'm not afraid to say it.
This is an anti-parade podcast.
Yeah, I know it's tumultuous cultural waters right now with people taking sides, but I'm coming out and saying I am severely anti-parades. I'm in the same boat where I get super anxious around huge crowds of people. Parades, like if I'm at a concert, I don't really care. If I'm at like a music festival, it doesn't matter. But for some reason, when people are just like packed in and I'm watching other people escape while I'm just there. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're in the parade. They can move if something goes down. If like an attack happens, only the people in the parade are going to survive because that street's empty and everyone else is packed in like sardines. So I hate parades. I never want to go. If I never go to another parade in my life, that will be 150% okay with me. So like, like if you're going to protest something, and I suspect there's probably about 40 to 50% of people at the Thanksgiving Day parade that don't actually want to be there. They were just brought by someone who wants to be there, or like their kids want to be there, but like the parents really don't give a shit. Protest something that people actually want to be at, because if I was watching this parade, as soon as the first person, like before they got to the word genocide and they were just like, I'd be like, it's over. We're going, like, this is our excuse.
Take it anymore.
This is our excuse. Like, they just gave us an excuse to leave. Like, this is it. Like, I bet you like half the people just left immediately as soon as they opened their mouth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they did, because like it could go one of two ways. I mean, you either have that reaction where you're like, okay, I've seen enough, I'm leaving. Or you could be like, oh, this shit just got good. Finally, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for something good to roll by.
Yeah.
100%. So to each their own.
Yeah, you're like, is this a genocide float? Like, what is what's going on here? Like,
interesting.
Is the starvation float gonna come by next? Like, I like that point of view. Like that, it's finally something. Maybe I would stick around if I see it. I'm also like, what's gonna happen? Is there gonna be a fight?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Is Grimace gonna get out and start just fucking like beating the crap out of Palestine? Like, is Grimace gonna put on his Israel pin and then go just start beating the fuck out of protesters? Like, I'm never gonna see that again in my life. Like, imagine if you were watching Grimace beat the shit out of a protest and just like you can't hate that. Like, you just have to watch.
Life changing. Yeah, you can't take your eyes away.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? But just let the record stand that Zach and I and Breaking Takes anti-parade. Sorry about it.
Anti-parade. There's all these protesters are screaming the thing that it says on the what's it called, the banner: genocide then, genocide now, give Palestine their land back. If you zoom in on the photo, and there's other photos in this article where I'm like, does it look like there are any Palestinian people there? They're basically all white Brooklyn hipsters. If you like, half the people are just like the white dudes who wear the beanies that don't cover their ears, so it's just like the top. It's
and they're not even like warm.
Yeah,
it's the like whole point of a beanie is to put it over your ears, so your head stays warm.
Yeah, they're just like hipsters wearing head condoms.
Exactly.
And they're saying free Palestine, give them their land back. But it's like, if you live in New York, you're paying $4,000 a month to live in a place where we basically tricked indigenous people into selling Manhattan for 2 beaver tails. Like, it was like the equivalent of $20. So if you wanted people to give their land back, literally everyone would have to evacuate New York immediately. It's backwards logic, and you're wearing a hat that makes you look like a condom. So
that's just added.
Yeah.
Added spice there.
Yeah. Ice spice, as they would say. It was cold out. But she wouldn't wear a condom hat. She'd wear something with
She's
more
not wearing
flair.
any hat. Yeah. Maybe a visor, because you got to let that hair loose.
Yeah.
You don't have hair like that to put a hat on it, Zach.
Oh yeah. Her hat is just her hair. That it's just her head. Like, it's built in with the afro. It keeps her top of her head warm. She doesn't need it.
I only wish I had good hair like that. Just something.
Yeah.
Anything. Here we are.
It's nice. I've thought about, doing some sort of perm blowout. You will see.
Yeah, I would love that. You're growing it out pretty long now. So maybe a perm is what you need for 2024.
Yeah, I think, new year, new me. I've thought about it in the past. I've been too afraid to pull the trigger. So, maybe this is the year.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to do another story for our people, but you know, so we got to wrap it up sometimes, guys. And I think we were on a roll.
We were. And I think this is a perfect time to end it off because, you know, it's still undetermined what Grimace actually did to those protesters. So I say we leave it off here. And if there are any Grimace updates, like if Grimace is just on the run for 3 protest murders and McDonald's has to like put a message in front of all their commercials now saying like, we do not support the recent protest murders of our dear friend Grimace, who
we no longer stand with Grimace. Grimace is just on a tear of society.
Apparently Grimace is supposed to represent milkshakes. Like I had no idea that it was for food, but if you look up Grimace, he's like he's supposed to be the embodiment of a milkshake, which I've never seen a purple milkshake, but apparently that's kind of what Grimace is supposed to be. So, I mean, the milkshakes bring all the protesters to the yard, so you're damn right.
You can be anything you want to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this has definitely been an exciting, you know, poo-filled episode.
Yeah, we went somewhere down the toilet.
We brought you from, honestly, a full poo podcast journey from the actual poo to the receptacle for the poo, and then for the release of the poo on Thanksgiving. We ended it off with a Thanksgiving story.
That's right.
And you know what's on the other side of poo is Grimace. He's there. You'll see him in your nightmares everywhere you look and listen. Grimace is always watching. That's what we want to leave our Breaking Takes listeners with, is that just when you think you've escaped the darkness of your own thoughts for a second and you have a moment of peace, just look behind you and Grimace will be there. And
scratch those toilets, baby. You could be a millionaire.
100%. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.